do that, we should respect natural immunity, because otherwise we're generating mistrust and not being scientifically valid. Right? Even though there's patchiness in natural immunity because of asymptomatic infections versus symptomatic infections. All right, fine. The second thing is we still need to mask in the hospital with our patients across the board, because even vaccinated people can technically transmit in case they're symptomatic. Right? So everybody should mask. They should be punished for unvaccinated people by forcing them to mask in a different way. Everybody should still be masking. Now, break rooms and stuff, that's a different subject, but that's a subject of a different show. All right. The third thing is, in healthcare, we really ought to be just modeling the correct way to talk about this. Passionately, patiently, still encouraging vaccination, but understanding people's concerns. Now, what if you don't have natural immunity and you have these concerns that I talked about? Either you don't understand, you're poisoned by the misinformation, or you have medical issues that really have got you concerned. At that point, what we need to do is say, hey, before we fire you, here's an hour, 2-hour class that you can take with someone who's really good at listening, as well as about vaccines. It ought to be a specialty in itself, alt-middle teacher of vaccines. And that person can then go through the fears, understand the misinformation, listen to the case in hand, and say, you know what? All right, here's what we can do, here's what we can learn, here's what I would advocate. And if that person then elects to get vaccinated, wonderful. If they don't, then there can be more conversations. And at that point, if there's a federal mandate, you have no choice. But you try. You try compassionately and holistically to kind of look at this person as a person. And that goes a long way to fusing this talent that, right? It's really to be done with love, respect, and patience, and it's hard. But you know what's harder? Staffing a position that's now empty, right? Restoring the heart of a profession where there's a great deal of resignations now because we're tired of it. We're tired of being used as pawns. We're tired of the moral injury. We're tired of working in a for-profit system. Even the not-for-profits are for-profit that values dollars over people and doing stuff to people instead of doing stuff for people. Okay? That would go a long way to changing the dynamic in hospitals. And that's why I think these one-size-fits-all mandates are a mistake. It's much more nuanced like everything, and we can get through it with love. Love, understanding, and compassion. All right. So, do me a favor. Share this video. Please don't take a crap on your colleagues if they're not vaccinated in healthcare. Talk to them compassionately. I know it's hard. And if you haven't been vaccinated and you're in healthcare, if you haven't been naturally infected, please consider getting the vaccine. That's really, I'll take everything I've learned over this 10-year and a half of pandemic and just say this. I really think you should get vaccinated. I really think you should talk to your doctor, talk to your pediatrician, whatever you need to tell them. Get vaccinated. All right, let me see.
Details on the Border Patrol horse unit that was photographed last week while preventing migrants from crossing into the United States. According to senior Department of Homeland Security officials, the mounted team arrived at the border hours before the photos were taken, and they were under orders not to let anyone cross. Fox News has also learned that the Department of Justice sent a team of investigators to Del Rio on Sunday to determine if the Horse Patrol agents violated the migrants' civil rights. Meantime, an Associated Press reporter posted new video that very clearly shows a Border Patrol agent on horseback grabbing a migrant's shirt, but not whipping him. As of Friday, neither President Biden nor Vice President Harris had spoken to the Chief of Border Patrol to find out what happened. Imagine that. But that didn't stop them or other prominent Democrats from concluding what the border agents did was wrong. Listen to this.
Horses driving over people being strapped. It's outrageous. I promise you, those people will pay.
It also evoked images of some of the worst moments of our history where that kind of behavior has been used against the indigenous people of our country, has been used against African Americans during times of slavery.
The investigation into what occurred has not yet concluded. We those images painfully conjured up the worst elements of our nation's ongoing battle against systemic racism.
It is unconscionable, and I admit it was bad, and it shocked me. I expected our administration to know better than to have horses chasing down black people.
All shameful lies, Jason. The photographer who took the picture saying, I did not see anyone whip anyone else, a Border Patrol agent on background, telling the Daily Mail, they've never seen this happen. So why are Democrats running with this vicious lie when it's contrary to the truth?
I don't know why they're running with a lie. They seem to inject racism wherever they can to think that they can just get their way through this. But those were Border Patrol agents doing their job. And I tell you, that mounted patrol, we need more of them. They were actually pretty effective in terms of the number of agents versus what they were up against. These people were trying to run past them, and they were trying to shut down the border as they were ordered to do. And hats off to them. I think we need more of them.
Yeah, Kennedy, the White House seems to have totally politicized this and put some pressure on the Department of Homeland Security. Because I remember in the direct aftermath of this, Mayorkas saying he saw nothing untoward, Kennedy. All of a sudden, Jen Psaki takes the podium, says she's horrified. His language changes. Do you think there's some White House pressure involved in this?
Yeah, there's pressure and propaganda, and the president's numbers on immigration have dropped 12 points just over the last month, and that's among Democrats. A majority of people think that he's doing a vast majority think that he's doing a poor job on immigration, and because of that, because of the number of people who are suffering and untold numbers dying trying to get into the country, crossing the hot deserts with no supplies and coyotes who abandon children. The picture has been very grim. They are mired in an immigration war. They are not winning it, so they're using any visual they possibly can to change the story away from Afghanistan and away from their own failures here. And it's incredibly dishonest, and it also disturbs people who are trying to immigrate into this country legally. So, yeah, shame on all of them who are pushing this propaganda.
No doubt, and the real shameful part of it all, Harris, is the Border Patrol's inability to speak out for themselves. They just have to take it. One Border Patrol agent telling Fox News, would you go to work and do your best, knowing that if you do, your boss is going to, quote, make you pay? He quoted Joe Biden. And the real heartbreaking quote I saw to the Daily Mail was this: agents spend their own money to buy French fries for crying kids. They help women and children up steep embankments to safety. And the left liberal media continues to spin a narrative of hate and corruption against us.
Hate always has to jump on low when people choose to focus on hate, right? It's just, it comes completely with the narrative that's built in for some people. And that's what we're looking at here. So I just want to know what our journey has been like that we hate the Border Patrol inside the Beltway. What's happening there at the White House that they feel the President of the United States can be judge and jury and threaten consequences before an investigation is finished? I'd also like to know,
Massachusetts. There's this little running water right by the hotel, and you can hear it. Yeah, it sounds really relaxing, doesn't it? This camera has completely useless low-lux video recording, so you're not going to be able to see much of anything. But it's the sound that really does it. Way more than the video. So today I wanted to discuss a comment that I had received on a video that I had done on employment and unemployment benefits and employee loyalty a few months ago. This video was about how lots of people are not returning to demeaning jobs after the pandemic. Now, there were a few people that pointed out that the very generous government unemployment benefits and government printing money is not a free market thing, and that has a lot to do with people's decision making. And 100% that is most certainly a part of it. But one of the things that I think is important to discuss is something that's going on now that I find similar to what happened 13 years ago. It is a feature of recessions. It's not a bug, it's a feature of them, which is that people recognize that there is no such thing as a, quote, steady and stable job. For many people, they thought that, they could pursue their dreams, they could pursue starting a business, they could pursue starting a freelancer, but that had a downside, which is that they could lose their income at any given time. So they traded following their dreams, they traded following their passion, their hearts, for what it is they really wanted to do with their life for a stable paycheck. And once they realized that they could work someplace for 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 years, and they were tossed out on the grass with really no way to know if they were still going to be able to have a salary, no way to know if they were still going to be able to support their family or pay rent, that it didn't really make sense for them to continue doing that. Because the one thing they got in exchange for not following their dreams, which was the semblance of a stable life, was taken away from them. So in 2008, I remember I was working for anywhere from $0 to $10 an hour for this one particular studio that I was interning at, and I put my hard blood, sweat, and tears into making that place as good as it could humanly be. And when they hit a roadblock during the end of 2008, instead of trying to work through it, they shut down the business. And after 2 years of killing myself to try and make that place better, I learned a lesson. I learned a lesson that I am not going to work to build other people's dreams. I am going to work to build my own. I am never going to care more about someone else's company than they do about their company. And I started doing this. And one of my good friends at the time also lost his job at a digital camera sales company. They were getting their ass kicked by B&H anyway, so it really was only kind of a matter of time before they were gone. But he got laid off, and he also made the decision that he was going to just go and follow his dream. He was only working for that particular digital camera company because he believed that it offered him job stability that he would not get from running his own studio and doing his own production work. And not only does he now do his own production work, but he makes more money and has more stable income than he did back then. But he would have never gone out to do that full time on his own without getting the kick in the ass of leaving. So there are a lot of employers now that are wondering, why can't I get people to come back to work? Why can't I get someone to come back to the job that they had before? They were happy with getting $12 an hour before. Why aren't they happy getting $12 an hour now for whatever it is that they were doing? And the reality of it is, generous unemployment benefits, by all means, that's going to have something to do with it. I've interviewed people last year that said, I will only take this job even when they pay over $20 an hour for minimum, like bare bones skill stuff. I'm only going to take it if you pay me under the books, at which point I politely tell them, go gargle my balls, go find a job elsewhere, you're not worth going to prison for. But there is that element to it of, man, it doesn't make sense to go back to the way things were before, because I thought I had job stability, and now I don't. Now, one of the best ways to get your employees back is to have never let them go to begin with. Now, there was one gentleman that said that when I had said that I had retained my people, that it was really disingenuous for me to say that and not tell people that I had applied for the PPP program. I thought this was pretty funny because I had 5 or 10 videos last March and April, pretty much step by step going through the PPP process, literally day after day. The keywords in the videos say PPP. The title of the video says PPP. It's as transparent as I think it can get. And in those videos, there is something very clear, which is that for many businesses, there was about a month to 3 month gap between many areas having lockdowns that destroyed the businesses in those areas and the PPP program ever distributing any funds or even being announced as something that may be coming down the line. And one of the things that I had done before I even knew that PPP was the thing, before I had heard of PPP, before it was announced, before I had ever applied, was I made a commitment that I am going to keep the people that I have, and if my business goes under, I will go down with the ship. And what I like to think that did is I think that in spite of the fact that I'm a piece of garbage to work for, in spite of the fact that I'm a horrible boss, a horrible employer, and a horrible business owner, that it sends the message that you are not disposable. You know, again, I'm quick to let go of people that no longer care about their job, that no longer do a good job, that no longer seem to care. But for the core staff that really care about what they do, that do a good job on a regular basis, you know, if we're going down with the ship, I'm there. If the ship is going down, I will go down with that ship. I made that commitment that I was going to pay people even if they wanted to stay home because of COVID, and that I would pay the people that came to work what their old salary was, if whether they came to work or didn't come to work, before any government programs were announced, before any of that was announced. I never had to worry about rehiring my staff because I never let them go. One of the easiest ways to get people to go back to work is to not let them go to begin with. And I know that this may seem somewhat unfair for me to say now, you know, after being in business over a decade, to someone who's only been in business for, let's say, 6 months to 18 months, who may not have that ability or that luxury to be able to make that commitment when business has dropped by 50 or 60 or 80% because your governor is a dictator, like ours was. But that's one of the ways that you keep people. And I know that that's something that's really difficult for many business owners to accept. But one of the few things that you offer people that they didn't get from their own freelance work was that feeling of job security, of job stability. I may not get paid well here. I may not get treated well here. I may not like how customers talk to me here. This may not be fulfilling. But at the end of the day, I don't have to stress over whether or not I'm going to be able to pay my bills, whether or not I'm going to be economically destroyed, whether or not my savings is going away, whether or not my debt is going up, whether or not my landlord will be paid. And once that's taken away from them, once they realize that's not there, you can't give that back to them. You can give them back their salary, but you will never be able to give them back that sense of security. Now, what happens during recessions, and this is a feature, not a bug, is people figure out that there is no such thing as a steady job. My father figured this out for himself in the late 80s. He worked on Wall Street, and he decided that he was going to change careers in his 40s right after he just had a newborn and had a lot of stress in his life due to health issues that were going on with members of his family, and that he was going to go to school to become a professional chef. He did that because he realized that even though Wall Street actually paid considerably better than becoming a chef, that the job security just was not there, as he watched many people that he had worked with from childhood just, go from firm to firm and get, fired from there, fired from here, that were 10 to 30 years older than he was. And at some point, it didn't even matter if he was laid off and they just took him back later. It sent a message to him that when the going gets tough, his boss is going to let him go. He wanted to be able to do something where in an industry where that just wasn't the norm. And at least in the early 90s, that was not the norm. And he did have job security at the restaurants that he wound up working for. He eventually wound up working his way to work at the Plaza Hotel as the first cook, and that's not a job where they are just kicking you out because this week we didn't sell as much food as we did last week. And it's the same thing for a lot of employees. When they realize that the one thing they were staying at your company for no longer exists, you're not going to be able to get them back for the same amount of money that you paid before. It doesn't matter what you can offer them in dollars, because they realize that job security, that one thing that kept them from following their dreams, is gone. And they're going to now go and follow their dream. And as I mentioned in that video, several of the people that just said finally went to follow their dream because they were forced to, because they had no other way to make money, actually realized that they made more money that way. They were afraid to go out on their own and start their own business. They were afraid to become a freelancer. But once they became a freelancer, they realized, wait a second, I used to take home like $400 a week. Now I take home $9. And yeah, I got to deal with, a little bit more work, but I take home twice as much. I like that. I don't want to go back to the way things were before. Same thing with office space. You have a lot of people that are now deciding to work from home. Now, many businesses are going to be reluctant to have their employees work from home, because getting people to work from home is difficult if you are a manager. It's a difficult management experience to figure out how you make that work. How do you take a company with 10,000 employees that work in an office and figure out how to manage them at home? If you're profitable the way you were before, you may not want to, just kind of do this thing that's going to take up a lot of your time, going to require building a whole new plan when you already have things working as is. But once the government forces you to not go to the office, once they force you to have your employees work from home, then you're forced to figure it out. And once you figure it out, and you figure out that you actually, after a couple of months of growing pains, you can actually have all your employees work from home. Man, it does beg the question, hey, why are we paying $150 a square foot for 200,000 square feet of office space? What if we just paid for 10,000 square feet of office space? Now the landlords are looking at them and saying, listen, why aren't you coming back to the office? Hell, we'll even take 10% off. And say, wait, yeah, but we just figured out that the one reason that we had all this office space is because we thought we needed an office. And now that we were forced to come up with plans to work without an office, and it works, and we made it work, why am I going to pay like $4 or $8 or $100,000 a month or whatever to have all this office space that we don't need anymore? You're not going to get people to go back to the way things were before once they've adapted. And what I think has happened to a lot of people is over the past year and a half, they've adapted to what it's like to have to fend for themselves, to have to come up with freelance gigs, to have to find side jobs, to have to go into business for themselves because they were let go. And you're not going to get them back by offering them the exact same amount of money that they got before. And I think you're going to notice this, and I could be wrong here, and I'm open to being wrong, but I think even once all the extended unemployment benefits end, I think that you're going to find that a lot of those employees are still choosing to not go back to their old jobs. I don't know how long my video wasn't in focus for. That's kind of... Yeah, the S10e camera is very unimpressive. But anyway, I think you're going to find that even once extended unemployment benefits end, that a lot of people are not going to go back to their old jobs because they have realized that there are other ways to make money, there are better ways to make money, and that at the end of the day, one of the few things that they thought they were getting, which is job security, they were not getting. And I kind of wonder if I had let go of my employees, March 10th, March 12th, when it was, Cuomo was floating the idea of a pause order, and then I only let them back in the store in May or June, would they have all come back? I think that some of them may have, but I think a lot of them would have said, screw this, probably would have found other ways to make money on their own, and not come back. Maybe they would have pursued something. I mean, it's impossible to tell, but I wanted to send the message that, at the very least, one of the things that you are getting from having a job versus having your own business, which is some genuine sense, some general sense of stability, is a sense that you'll get here. And if this was a bad decision, if this was something that's not going to work, if I screwed up and I made the wrong calculation, then I will be going down with the ship with you. There will be no more Ross Repair. We'll see. One way to figure out. And that's a decision that I think I would have stuck to regardless of whether there were any sort of government programs that came out, regardless of whether there were any sort of PPP thing came out later. And God knows that that entire system was an absolute mess. It came out considerably after the lockdowns were already announced. It took forever to distribute funds. They actually changed the rules at one point. I remember doing 2 videos on this where they issued an update, but they issued the update that invalidated your prior application and how you applied for it, which was hysterical. Like after many people had already applied, and if you would apply using this information instead of the updated information, you could get declined. Like it was I could go on about that for weeks. But yeah, if you're an employer, one of the things that you are selling, and I think it's important to understand, one of the things that you're selling is the idea of job stability. And when that's taken away, it's going to take a lot more to get your people back. And I think that that's going to last long after the government extended unemployment benefits end. I think a lot of people are following their dreams, and honestly, I wish them the best of luck with their dreams that they're following. And maybe think of it as a positive thing. Maybe don't think of it as just a bunch of people that are being lazy and deciding not to work. Probably a lot of those people are actually working a lot harder than you think. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now.
And welcome to Hannity.
Americans held hostage, abandoned behind enemy lines. Day 44.
Americans held hostage 44 days behind enemy lines. No.
This is a test for Monday.com's new product, Monday Work Docs. Test number 1, the typing test. So let's see what happens when Rose, Raz, and Isaac type all at once on a standard doc editor that is not a Monday Work Doc. Go. All right, Rose, what are we looking at? Is it working?
I think so.
First slow.
Disaster.
Now let's try again with Monday Work Docs. My name is, oh wow, that's all at once.
Fast.
That's all at once.
That's how it's supposed to work.
So beautiful.
Test number 2, the undo test. So when you click undo, it should undo your own work. Each one of you, try to undo your own name. And Rose, we'll start with you. See what we have.
Oh, that is not.
You undid anybody but your name. Now with Monday Work Docs. All right, Rose. Boom. Roz.
Boom.
Isaac. Boom. It works. Test number 3, the scroll test. But let's see if Roz can actually type what she did last week. All right, when that happens, you two start pasting. Just paste anything.
Oh my gosh.
I can't focus.
Where did it go?
I lost it.
Can you tell where you are?
No idea.
Okay. Now let's try again with Monday Work Docs.
This is calming. I'm calm, cool, and
So Roz, are you seeing anything? Are you still able to type?
seeing everything. It is magical.
Monday Work Docs. We're Word.
City of light. How I love the city of light. It never gets me down. City of light. How I love the city of light. It never gets me down. Yeah.
To be quite honest, I did miss it more than I thought I would. Welcome back to my channel, or hello if you guys are new. It's a very exciting video because I'm going to New York. It's Saturday at about 9 o'clock. We are about to catch our flight. My mom is going with me for a few days, and then Aiden's going to come up for the rest of the week. So for a week, he just can't take off like a whole week of work, so he's coming up for half of it. But I'm so excited. If you guys don't know, I used to live in New York. I lived there for 4 years, and I moved back in 2020, so I haven't been back since, and so I'm a little bit nervous, but also really excited. We got all our stuff all packed. Aiden's about to drop me off at the airport. We're mainly going to see my niece Claire because my brother lives there and my sister-in-law lives there, so we're mainly seeing them, and of course doing some other things too. And because I feel like I might get questions, my sweater is from Target. My bodysuit's from Target, my rings are from Ana Luisa, as well as my necklaces that I'm wearing. We just got to our hotel room, so I'm going to give you guys a little tour. We're staying at a Sonder property. We're in the City Hall one, and it's so pretty. We just walked in, and we're going to get ready to unpack our stuff and then get some groceries because we have a kitchen, which is really nice. I'm so thankful for them because they are gifting us this stay for this trip, so I'm so thankful. But if you guys don't know, Sonder has a ton of different places, basically all around the world. They have a ton in New York City as well. There's just so many different options, and when we were looking to come here, they had a bunch of different locations in the city. And you walk in, we've got our bed, got so many windows, sorry. And we got our kitchen, which is so pretty. It's like super well stocked. They left us some candies, which was so sweet. This little taxi cab. So pretty right now. Got our bed. Probably gonna unpack some stuff and put it in the closet. And then when you come over here, we have our bathroom, which is very interesting. This is very modern shower. Got our sink area. Just so spacious. I'm so used to staying in such small places when I come to New York that this is so nice just having all this space. You basically do everything through the app, so you can order extra towels if you need them, or you can do like a late checkout, and when we checked in here you just put in your access code, so it's really easy, it's contactless, and you can just head up to your place. So it's really simple to get in, also really simple to book, and everything's just really nice and modern and feels really new. I also wanted to say that I'll have a link to Sonder down below if you guys are going anywhere. I will show you guys how we're enjoying our stay throughout the week. So really excited. I think right now we're just going to do some unpacking and then go get some groceries like I mentioned and find something for dinner. It's about 5 o'clock, so I feel like the sun's going to start setting soon. So we're just going to get settled in and enjoy the night. Finished getting ready for dinner. I just put on this black top, which I thrifted a while ago, and then my jeans are from Zara. These are just the wide leg ripped jeans, and then I'm probably just gonna throw on some sneakers. Try not to wear my shoes inside. Also got on my hope necklace. We're going to a place called Malibu Farm in the Seaport District, so I've never been there, but I'm very excited. It looks good. We're gonna eat outside by the water. We are back to our hotel room, which is so nice. We just got in bed. My mom's taking a shower, but we're about to head to sleep and have a fun day tomorrow. I'm really excited. We're trying to figure out what we wanted to do. The restaurant was so good tonight. They were so nice. It took a while for our food to come out, and so they gifted us those desserts, which was so sweet. And then we walked around, looked at the view. It was so nice, but I'm about to head to sleep, so I will see you guys tomorrow. Around 10 o'clock, I went ahead and grabbed some coffee this morning. The reason why we picked such a great week to come. We're actually going to meet up with my brother, so that's like the main reason why we're here, like I told you guys, because we're meeting my niece Claire. They have church, and then we're going to meet up with them for lunch/brunch. But I think before that, we're pretty close to the Brooklyn Bridge, which is why I like this Sonder location, because it's at City Hall, so it's really close to like everything downtown. We're gonna walk the Brooklyn Bridge. That's like my favorite touristy thing to do. It's actually something that I think is super fun. It can get a bit crowded. Probably will be crowded today because it's so nice out and it's a weekend, but I still think it's so fun. I love it. I think we're just gonna walk.
It's hard to believe that Mint Mobile can be good at just $15 a month. So, as Mint's new owner, I brought in one of our first and oldest customers, Wasim McNavy. Welcome to Mint, Ryan. So you've had Mint for years. Any issues? No, the service has been great. And under my ownership, it's going to get even better. Oh, no idea.
Still $15 a month, though, right?
Yeah.
How about Taco Wednesday? Nobody's done that before.
Points that we get from, different places. From this one, I got it from a stadium line. So, and again, this one is very, very cheap compared to the ones that I normally get. And this is the one that I made. And again, I added, the light is kind of making it kind of. But I added two slots so they can, put their pens in it. And like I said, now I can embroider the logo a lot bigger, because in the past, it was just the logo like right here where my two, when you see these two fingers on, that's what I was, that's what we were embroidering. So, thunder, it's thundering. Romeo, what's up, Romeo? How you doing? Man, I'm starting to edit my videos and post them on YouTube. Yeah, that's good. For my charging because my phone's about to die, and I know some people like to come. Check out TSC Apparel. Yes, also check out TSC Apparel. TSC Apparel, they're really good. In the past, we had a lot of Because they're here in Texas, they're in Houston, but for some reason every time I order something, they will order from the East Coast, and I was like, dude, what the heck? So yeah, we will fight all the time. The apron looks really good. Yeah, they look very nice. I mean, this is me doing all the sewing. Kind of like you can't really see the actual sewing. But yeah. How many turn the light on? Three? You can see that. Three? Oh, there you go. Now you can see it. So, but yeah. You know, the only thing I don't have on that one is the strap. The strap. Lace over there. That embroidery looks better than any screen print. Yeah. It will last much longer. Yeah, definitely. But Madre, glad you made it. Yeah, we're all glad Lily made it. Yes, press the like button. Yeah, if you guys don't mind, press the like button. If you ask Denise, she's gonna ask you. Or Ramon. Let me see, where am I at? So yeah, guys, if you have any questions, please let me know. Raiders, nothing. Sure coming to your mailbox soon, Ramon. Keep it up. I should make one like that, Lily. That would be really cool. Hey, Gina, how you doing? How you doing, Gina? Those colors pop very good on that black. Yeah, so... Yeah, they look really nice. Actually, that's not the correct blue. Because I'm looking, I can't find the actual blue that goes right there. But that's very close to the blue that goes right there. The blue that normally goes on this, it actually looks better than that.
With Squarespace, editing and adding pieces on my e-commerce site is quick and easy, so I can focus more on the creative part of my business.
City of mine, how I love the city of mine.
Hello, welcome to today's vlog. Today I'm going to take you guys through a little night of my life, a little fall night routine, if you will. It is officially September 22nd, which means it's officially fall time. Happy fall, my favorite time of the year. It's 4:15 right now. I just woke up from a quick little 30-minute nap, put my contacts back in so my eyes are watering. I am going to get ready for my 5:30 workout class that I have tonight. My friend is coming over before our workout class. We're going to go together. So in the next 30 minutes, I need to take this little dude outside. I need to start drinking an energy drink because I've been doing that instead of like pre-workout before my evening workout classes, and then I need to change because I'm not in my workout clothes, change and get ready to go. We gotta leave here by like 5-ish to make sure we get there on time, so got lots to do. I'm gonna take him out first.